Hey everyone, Mar Music here. Thought I'd bring you into the vault to take a quick trip down t-shirt memory lane with all our competitive Hamilton West t-shirts that we've had over the years. So I figured we'll start with the very first one, which may surprise some of you. It wasn't orange. It was a gray in color. This was the very first year that the band went competitive. You see, 2006, 2007, the Hamilton West Marching Band went competitive on July 1st. 2006. This was the very first theme that they chose. This was not really before my time, but I came in the middle of this year. So this season had already pretty much ended with the exception of some parades at the end. I arrived around like St. Patrick's Day, right around there. I'll show you the back of it. So there's, some of the shows there for 2006, 2007. All right, this was also the very first year we held our first, I don't know if I can see it here. You guys will probably, at Hamilton West. So that was the very first competitive cavalcade of bands, September 30th. All right, so we went from there. So I didn't write that show. And when I came to this school, this was announced. Actually, the very day that I had my interview for the job, they had picked this theme, and this was already announced. This was just a show that you bought from a music store like J.W. Pepper. This was a pre-written show. It was 4 shows. It was Grease, 2007, 2008. I did write the warm-up song, but this was already, set when I came on. So that's kind of cool. We used to do the colored, the multicolored backs, and then it got a little too expensive there. I'll show you the front. Front is pretty much the same. You'll see a little difference. They used to say HS, like Hamilton HS for high school West bands. And then later on, we got rid of the HS, and we just, made it look a little more like, here we go. Here's the next year. Hamilton West bands. That's what it'll look like. But this is the first year that I wrote What a Rush. This was a gold mining theme. Some of you may still have your t-shirts. Some may not. Some of you probably lost it maybe the second or third week that we actually were in the season or whatnot. This is 2008, 2009. Again, there's a prospector and gold things there. This was a pretty cool gold mining show. Then we went to, what's next? Do you remember what's next? Well, Out of This World, 2009, 2010. And this might be the last year that we had the colored, this is the last year we had the colored back. There's Marvin the Martian. Then it got a little too expensive. We couldn't do it anymore. All right. Try to go in to see. We always did a lot of shows here. We used to do, every other year we did the band trip to Disney. This year it was a band trip to Virginia Beach. That was a nice trip. All right, Out of This World, 2009, 2010. What was next? You remember? An American Band in Paris. All right, money's tight. Money got tight. We had to go to Paris, so, we couldn't afford the colored Eiffel Tower. Everything's just the black writing. All right. One of these shows, I don't remember if was this one. I'll have to take a look. One of the shows, it practically rained every weekend. It might have been the one before this one, the Out of This World. I only have like 2 videos of the band for that whole year, and I think even our own cavalcade of bands was indoor for the only time that that I was the director of bands at Hamilton West. So it's a pretty rare video. I was looking through, as some of you know, I found all my old videos recently, and I noticed there's only like 2 of them for one of the seasons. American Band in Paris, pretty cool show there. 2010, 2011. All right, coming next. 2011, 2012. This was a show that changed a lot of things. All right, this was, if I were to say a turning point in the band program, The Jokers Are Wild would probably be it. It just clicked. Everyone had fun. We had fun on the field. There's a lot of little jovial things built into the show, meaning like funny things built into the show. It was a good show. I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed going to the rehearsals. The students, as far as I know, the students enjoyed playing it. It was a good year. The Jokers Are Wild. Very, very, very good year. After The Jokers Are Wild, I'll tell you, this was one of my favorite shows. When people ask me, what's my favorite show? Do I like the Spellbinding or the I Band or whatever? I have to say, I really like Gypsy Fortunes. It was a gypsy theme, a lot of neat music in there. I'll see if I can put this video up as well. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of neat things going on that field. The band parents, bless the band parents. They built these props. They built these gypsy wagons for a caravan and everything. It was just a great show. It was a lot of good stuff going on. So if people were to ask me what one of like my favorite shows were from all of my years, this would have to be definitely in the top 3, Gypsy Fortunes. All right. After 2012-13, da 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 da, Ghouls Gone Wild. So the story behind this one was when I was the director of bands up in Elizabeth High School, which was the school I was at before Hamilton. We won we won a couple state champs. We won a couple national champs up there. The only show that I won both states and nationals up there was a show called Something Wicked This Way Comes. A show I wrote about just, spookiness on the field, neat music, fun music. But as you can imagine, it was a spooky show. Well, the kids found the video of that. Someone posted it online, and they were bugging me. The students from Hamilton, shall I say, they were bugging me for a couple of years. Why don't we do that show over? Why don't we do that show over? So I thought about it one year, and I decided on January 1st to announce, because that's when we used to announce the shows at midnight on January 1st, as most of you remember, to do that show over. I did make some tweaks to it. We did add a couple things in there. There's a little jazz part of a song called After You've Gone. That's in there. That wasn't in the original Elizabeth show. Actually, I think it was. And those we couldn't play it for some reason. They were having, I don't know whether it was I don't think it was a time issue, but it just wasn't clicking. Well, Hamilton West kids, they made it click, and I'll probably put both videos up. You can see the other video. It's somewhere online, but I have a copy of it too somewhere. I may even taken the other copy and put it in my own thing. So I'll have to take a look at that. But Ghouls Gone Wild was our version of this. It was a cool show, neat stuff, just like the original one. But it's the only time in my life I ever kind of did 2 of the same shows. It wasn't exactly the same, but 2 of the same shows. Great props. Band parents, once again, every year the band parents did a fantastic job with the props. 2013, 2014. Lucky 13. What a great year to do a spooky show. After that, No Business Like Snow Business. This was a little bit of a take on Frozen. I had always wanted to do a snow show. I call this my snow show. And I only got, I don't know, a third or a half of the way through the show before there was nothing else to do. Like you can only do, the most wonderful time of the year. You can only throw in Jingle Bell. You can only do so much in a show before it starts getting like, kind of tacky. And you're like, it's not going to work. And you definitely never, as a competitive marchman, you never want to force something on the judges, right? You want it to be, you just want to come naturally. So I always shelved the show. And every year I would have a number of different theme ideas, rattling around in my head. Sometimes I would change it at the like 2 weeks before the show, 2 weeks before the announcement, shall I say. But this was always up there, and it wasn't until the animated Pixar or Disney movie, sorry, Frozen came out that I could finish the show, because there was definitely something missing in there. So I was able to finally get the snow business done. And by the way, this was the last year that you had to be in the marching band if you were in the band program. This was the final year that happened. So if you joined band, whether you want to be in the marching band or not, you were in the marching band. They had made a district-wide change after this year. So this was 2014, 2015. So as of July 1st, 2015, they made band extracurricular instead of co-curricular. It was co-curricular for decades. They separated it, meaning you could join just symphonic band and be, in the school during the ninth period band class, and just do your three concerts, because we had the music in our schools. Do your 3 concerts and that's it. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Or you could be also in the marching band. Now, we were able to, starting the year after this, to really, really audition students to be in the marching band. And you'll notice that after this year, the quality of the shows increased greatly. So the next show, the very first show that was a fully auditioned marching band was, you like my closet door here? There we go. Sears and Roebuck, probably. I'm not sure where that came from. Here we go. 2015-16's A New York State of Mind. Now, I have a confession. I'm not a real big, lover of New York. But I like to go visit. I like to go, go with the family, ride the train up there and walk around for the day and everything. But there's a lot of neat music that's associated with this. And I loved our design team. We worked together. I usually worked with Mrs. Shannon Sensi and Miss Virginia Diaz. We all sat together around our table here and worked out certain things with the designs. And I love how we started off. We did this in 4 different eras, and we started off black and white with the props and a lot of things. And when we were started in the 1920s, and then we went on from there. It was just a neat how we did everything. We had these giant props in the back that were on it was like a triangle prop that you turned, and the props would change into something else. So pretty cool. And we had a ball drop at the very start of the show. I'll post this show as well so you can see. But we started this as in, it was New Year's Eve at Times Square. Pretty cool show. Very, very good. And real good designer of the shirts as well. The name escapes me right now of the shirt company that we used. But I would basically just tell them what our show was, give them all the dates of things that we were doing. I always asked them to put the year on, because I think one t-shirt they missed the year, and I always wanted the year on. So I always made sure they did that. And they would come back, and usually, I loved whatever they designed on the t-shirt. I think only once or twice did I ever ask them to change something or make something a little bit different. So after this one, after New York, where did we go after New York? Oh, we did a little bit more of a interesting show. Cirque Du Psycho. Dun, dun, dun. Everyone loves clowns. Maybe not. Cirque Du Psycho was a show that it was I don't know. I think it just had too much Dr. Pepper designing this thing, thinking this one up. But it was all about a haunted circus. It wasn't really like a haunted circus, but it was a circus where you come and you buy a ticket to see the show, and then you never leave. Ha 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 ha. Okay, enough of that. So this was good. We actually did very well. I remember we went to Jackson this year, and it rained. And it was still outside. We went up against 4 other bands, so there's 5 bands in our group. And this was the first year we started using voiceovers. All right. We had voiceovers this year, depending on dealing with the theme. Joe Suarez, great former student former drum major. He joined us to help us out with the voicing tech and other things. He was a super, super help. So Joe, you owe me like $5 for saying that for you. But yeah, we started voiceovers, and I remember at that Jackson Memorial Show, we couldn't do electronics. So we were doing our show and everything, and I'm like, oh, it's just going to fall apart because they're not going to understand. Well, we won first place out of 5 bands. So we went into the judges afterwards, and I said to them, I said, well, there's 6 different judges, and I'm like, but you didn't know what was going on. And they said to me, we didn't need to know what was going on. We didn't need to hear the voiceovers. We knew what was going on just by, the music, by everything. And they got it. So our show without voiceovers beat out 4 other bands that didn't have voiceovers, but was doing their full and complete shows. It was pretty neat. Cirque Du Psycho. All right, 2 more to go. Here we have iBand. iBand. What the heck was the inspiration for iBand? This was just one that was kind of floating around as well. A lot of the music to this came from, or at least maybe in the second half of the show, well, maybe in the beginning as well, came from a Disney movie called Tomorrowland. It's a great movie. It has George Clooney in it. Great movie. If you've never seen it, rent it or see if you can get it on. Rent it. Go down to the VHS store and see if you can get an overnight rental on a VHS tape and put it in your VCR at home. Mr. Marr's old. Just forgive him. But yeah, this was a really neat show. We actually had lights. We bought LED lights and sewed them onto the fronts of all the uniforms. There's a great. I was watching one of the videos that I just recovered is of it was a nighttime show at North Brunswick. And halfway through the show, the kids turn around. Now, remember, it's dark. It's dark. We have field lights, and the kids start playing towards the back of the field where all the other kids. And I guess we were like near the end of the show because the stands were pretty much filled with all the other bands waiting for the awards. And we turn around, and that's when the students click on their little battery packs to let the lights go on. But we're still facing back field, so you can't really see anything from the front. Well, the whole back bleachers lets out this roar, and you can see the band parents down front. They're looking at each other. They know what's going on because they know what's going to happen in about like 30 seconds from that point. The band turns around and faces front, and woo, it's pretty cool. But at that point, all those other band kids from all the other schools that were sitting there waiting saw that. So that's a pretty cool scene. That's one of my fondest memories of that year. It's a great show, iBand. And then last, but definitely not least, was my final competitive show, Spellbinding. Okay, that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about Spellbinding 2018-2019. This was a pretty much spur of the moment show that came out. I think we had other shows in the running, and I don't know what, if it was like something I dreamt about and I woke up and I just ditched the other shows that were in the running for this year, and I said, you know what, let's do something like this. This is different. You don't see this out on the field, and it just came together so quickly. It would take me anywhere from 4 to 6 months to write the music. To be honest, near the end, I was doing it in 4 months, about 3 weeks per part. There was usually 4 parts, and I would give myself like a week in between just to cool down a little bit from sitting with headphones on in front of the keyboard, writing out the show. But this came super quick. I have to say, this was we had great theme meetings, with Mrs. Sensi and Miss Diaz. We knew where we were going with the show. It just clicked. The band parents, fantastic props. We would scribble down. I remember I wanted a what do you call that? Where you lay down, it has the the spikes on it. Can't think of what it is right now, but I wanted Evan Coleman to like lay on this thing. So look, bed of spikes, or bed of nails sometimes. And I remember asking Evan, would you mind if we were just do that? And he was like all gung ho. He's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm like, yeah, good. You can play your solo from there. But great show. This was our winningest season ever, Spellbinding. We did 6 regular season shows. We won 5. We came in second at one of them, and then we got third at the state championships. We received the out of 11 bands, number 1 music out of all 11 bands, which I'm very proud of, and also the cadets Award of Excellence was awarded to us, which was a actual shako and plume from the Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps. They actually gave it to us, and it has a little something or other, little plaque attached to the top of it. Then 1 week later, we went to the Nationals for the very first time in Hamilton West history, and out of 16 bands, we came in 6th place. So very good. I do want to back up 1 year, because everyone always talks about spellbinding. But I'll tell you real quick, iBand this year has the highest score in not only Hamilton West history, but the township history out of all the bands. We got at the state championships a 90.325, and that's the highest score ever. First off, that's the only 90 ever in the district of anything, but that's still to this day, that's the highest score ever in the history of the marching band and also the district, a 90.325. So for the other bands, if you're listening, that's the number to beat. The students from 2017, 2018 with this show, they did a fantastic job, and we also came in third at the state champs that year. So great show. So there you have it. All the years, all the shows. So I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, and I'll be putting up other videos. So make sure you subscribe and like and do all that crazy stuff you do on YouTube, and I'll get other videos and other neat things up as quickly as I can. All right, take care, everybody.